Hey everyone, it's Joe Glines, and today I'm talking to Jesus Prieto. And so, Jesus, now correct me if I'm wrong, you've been on some of the webinars, right?
Yeah, I've been for the last year, maybe
Yeah.
something like that. One year, I'm following your webinars every
Awesome.
month. Yeah.
And can you go ahead and give us a bit of background about your education, if you've done any other programming in any other languages and your work history?
Yeah, I'm a telecom engineer. My specialization is sound and video. This is what I studied at the university. I studied as well physics, but that was a long time ago. And right now, well, for the last 15 years, I've been working for in the translation world. So I don't translate much, but what I do is I prepare files for the translators, and I work as well as a project manager in a translation company. And yes, I did learn to program how to program in C, the old C, also Visual Basic, and now it's the time for AutoHotkey.
Nice. And actually, where are you from? Where you calling me from?
Yeah, I live in Madrid, Spain, Europe.
Oh.
So
Actually,
this is the Indian summer right now. I don't
really?
know in the States, but here
You guys had a really hot summer, didn't you?
Yeah, it's hot here. Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie. I think that Jackie had traveled during July. He traveled to Spain. I think he said, or
yeah, I heard of it. Yeah,
it was really hot.
Yeah, there were some days fine, but there were a full week that was terrible. Very hot, very hot. Yeah.
That's one thing I love about AutoHotkey and the webinars and stuff is I talk to people all over the planet, and I don't even realize that until like you start talking. You're like, oh yeah, where are you, located? So it's awesome.
Yeah, actually international business.
Yeah. How long did you work in C programming?
In C, how long? Well, I didn't work. I just studied. I did a few things for my physics studies. I did difficult stuff that I can't now remember. Just a few years programming, a couple of years, 3, and that was all. It was a very fast programming language. I find this AutoHotkey slow, really slow, but it's okay.
Well, and I think it's a great topic, right? Because it's, as far as efficiency wise, I think you're right. It's not built for speed, but as far as the time it takes you to get something done, to automate, right? It's really fast to implement, right? So
yeah, the other day I showed some of my code, some of my scripts to my son. I wanted him to say, okay, I'm gonna do this as well.
Yeah.
But I couldn't make it, so it will be another time.
How old is he?
He is 14.
Okay.
14, 4.
My son's 11, and I've been, for years. He actually uses the hotkeys and stuff.
Yeah.
He knows shortcuts, but I started talking to him a little bit about doing a little bit of programming, and he's still not there yet, like you said. But I'm really looking forward to it.
He tries. My son, I hope he can do something soon. But by the way, for kids, there is something called Scratch.
That's funny.
And this Scratch is some programming, very visual.
I was just going to ask you if you had. This is this is for Scratch, programming in Scratch.
Yeah,
so, absolutely. It's funny because when he was doing it, I was getting jealous at how easy it was to do some of the stuff. I'm like, you just wrote a loop. He wrote a loop, had to ask a question, and took the value. And I'm like, wow, that is awesome.
Yeah, this is a good way to start learning for kids. Scratch. Yeah. It was developed by an American university.
MIT, I think.
MIT, Massachusetts. Yeah, that one. And it's very good, very good. This is what my son does, mostly for. What do you call it? The teacher gives him homework to do, and he does it in Scratch.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's very good.
Cool. And then, so how did you first hear about AutoHotkey?
Well, it was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I saw it in a PC magazine, and I said, okay, this is for me, because working as in a translation agency, you can understand that we can use hot streams and very often.
Yeah. Well, and you have a lot of repetitive tasks too, right? I mean, that I know when I worked at Texas Instruments, we did a lot of, I worked in email marketing, and we mainly used, I think it was 8 different languages, in our translations. But, of course, I didn't deal in translations, but we would get the different versions of it, and it was just, we'd have our main one, but then we had everything else, and we had to do a lot of copying and pasting and swapping out of things, and it gets tedious.
Yeah. Mainly it's because the main interface of translators is the keyboard. I'm very bad with the keyboard. I'm very bad. I didn't learn how to type properly, so I'm very bad. So I use many abbreviations to put a sentence like this, and maybe I can show it to you. And then I learned how to automate things. A few of them. I know you guys are very good with the COM objects and web scrapping. Well, things I don't even understand, but
it just takes practice. Yeah. It's a steep learning curve. That was my first dive into it, was with the web scraping, and man, I didn't have a person to ask. This is why also, like, I highly encourage people to find a buddy, find someone who you can ask questions to, and that, like, literally, like, they can send you a question, and someone can look at your code and say, hey, this comma here is, shouldn't be there, or you forgot something. Because I would spend hours on stuff that was, I didn't know what I was doing, but I didn't have someone to ask, and I was just afraid to post to the forum. And so I just kept, I'm not that smart, but I'm very dogmatic. Like, I keep at something. And so I don't quit. Right. So I finally figured out the stuff, but that was where actually talking to Jackie, that's how we started communicating, and he kept on the forum. When I finally did start asking questions there, he would answer them, and not only answer them, but often cite, like, where things are from and this and that, and, like, man, it is really helps. So
I think the AutoHotkey forum is plenty of has plenty of information. Every time I want to do something, the first thing is I Google that, and the AutoHotkey.com, it's there.
Yep.
Most of the time. If it is not, it's something very similar.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it is so active right now. Even I've seen many questions answered, even for you and Jackie. I don't know. Maybe it's not so active right now, or it is the same.
I don't know. I honestly don't. I go there when I have something I'm trying to solve. I don't generally go there to find new, unless it's because I have that feature for the webinar. I'll have a feature script, and so I'll go to find something usually there. But I don't commonly go to the forum just because I got enough work to do, and I don't have time to just kind of look around what's there. But,
I know someone who posed a question and didn't get the answer, so I was wondering if it was not so active right now. But it is true that there are plenty of information there, and you can find many things.
Yeah. I think
I would check.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I actually, we did you probably remember, because if you've been attending the webinars for like a year, I think it was in that year, we had one on, like, troubleshooting, and there was this, we outlined a process of, like, the first thing I do is look in all my files, of make sure I haven't done it yet, and then I'll use Google to search the forum and Stack Overflow for the answer. And then I also will ping, like, I have several people that I know working on AutoHotkey, and if it's something that's not on either of those, then I'll ask them, hey, have you done anything on this?
Stack Overflow is another one. Yeah,
it's
much information.
The other one, so I was going to say, if it's COM related, you can often find stuff in VBA, and it's not too hard to convert it to AutoHotkey.
Well, Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
If you've
It's
done
not
C,
so
trust me, you
easy.
can. Yeah.
Yeah. Once I've, for the last month or something like this, I've been converting my my scripts from the alt and whatever to com. I'm using now com objects, and for this to do this, I needed to convert a few VBA scripts.
Uh-huh.
And, I'm learning. I'm learning.
Yeah. It takes a little practice, and that's the thing. I can't explain the what you change other than obviously, user which says equals, you put colon equals. Okay, that's easy. And then there's the dealing with the constants, right? Where they will have like a word, and you have to go find out what that word, what number that word represents, right?
Yeah.
But there are other nuances that I know someone who understands them could write a script to translate it for us, right? But I don't know the two good enough. I just know it looks different, and when I take the VBA and I look at it and I go, that doesn't look like AutoHotkey code, and I just start tweaking it until it works.
Yeah.
But,
it is linear, so up down you can follow the exactly the same lines, but methods and what is the other one? Properties. Sometimes I miss how to translate them.
Yeah.
By the way, about the constants, once I saw a web page with a full list of VBA constants.
Yeah.
I saw once. I've been trying to find it as well once more, and I couldn't find it because in this way you can just copy the name of the constant, and that would be fine. Otherwise, you have to try to find it, and
I have it. I have a file somewhere. I think I saved for Excel, because Excel is the one out of all Office stuff. Excel is what I use the most. Excel and Outlook, but Excel mostly. And if that interests you, I can find it and give it to you. But I don't know if there's one that has it for anything and everything.
Yeah, I've seen it. I'm not sure if it has everything there.
Right.
Outlook, Excel, Word, but it looks very big. Yeah. Wow. Just by the way, if there is someone trying to guess why it is good to program with COM objects, because I've got the two experiences with, for example, with Excel, you can move from one cell to the other, just saying send left, send right, something like this. But this procedure is not good. Sometimes Excel fails, doesn't do what you want to do. So I found out that with COM objects, this is very good.
Absolutely.
It's very reliable and fast, very fast.
Super fast. Yeah.
Grabbing the contents, pasting the contents, moving around. This is very, very fast and reliable with COM objects.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it, but I have actually I just recently shared it because I realized it had been quite a while since I posted it anywhere. But I have an Excel function library that I built.
Yeah. I saw it in LinkedIn. Yeah. I have it and I need to have a look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, most of it works. A lot of it I started writing years ago before I understood any of object-oriented stuff. And so you'll see like some of them, and they worked. So I didn't go back and fix them, right? I'm like, well, they still work. So I didn't go back and update them. But there were a few of them like I know I need to add more, but it's like as I need them, right? Then I'll add it in.
Yeah, I do the same. My library is very, very small, and when I add something, I just do it, and that time I don't figure out how much I'm gonna need in 1 year. No. Little by little, we do it the same way.
Yeah, but the speed and reliability using COM versus sending keystrokes and sending whatever, it's crazy the difference. And another great one, like so when I was at TI, I automated all of our email reporting, but what was cool was it was running on my computer, but you can have it not take the focus away, right? So I could still be working. It's running in the background, building my reporting, but I'm still using my computer. And so it was nice because I didn't have to stop what I'm doing. And it would, or I could interact with it too, I could I could have Excel. I think maybe you saw the Outlook webinar we had, where I could highlight a couple cells in Excel, and it would, go detect which ones are selected, and then grab what I want and do a mail merge from it, right? Which is, and it was super reliable.
You have done a lot of things, so that's the reason I learn a lot with your webinars.
Cool.
And there are a lot, and probably a good idea to go back. When did you start with your webinars? These webinars with Jackie, because two of you.
It's been about 2.5 years. I counted the other day. We got like 28 or something webinars, so it's been
28. So yeah, 2.5.
Something like that. Yeah.
Good. It's a good idea for me to go back and see, to have a look at the webinars with them.
The actually, if I remember correctly, the second one was on using Excel with COM. And that one I think maybe that's where I alluded to the function library I had at the time. But anyway, we walked through a bit of stuff, especially if you're new to using Excel and understanding the Excel object model. That there's there's 3 levels. There's I think the program, or I forget what it's called, but it's a bit like the program level, the worksheet level, and then no, workbook level, and then worksheet level. And depending on the function or method you're using, you got to be connected to the right one of those 3. And so it's a little bit of it's a little weird, but it's not that hard. You just have to, what I usually do is I just say, I'll try it at the application level. If it doesn't work, then I move down one level. Actually, I'd move down to the worksheet level, because usually it's either the application level or worksheet level. And I don't try to reason with it. I just try it and see if it works. And if it didn't work, then I change the pointer to the other one, and then it usually works. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, this is something I've just started to use. Every Wednesday, this is a use case. Every Wednesday we pay our freelance translators. Every Wednesday, this is our philosophy. So every Wednesday I got a small spreadsheet with the name of the translator, how much the wires transfer was, and the invoice number. And with this, I just create we have AutoHotkey. I create an email message, and I send it with saying hi. Hi, Jesus. Today we have already sent payment for this invoice, and that's all. And I managed to do it with COM, Excel COM and Outlook COM. So
awesome.
And I remember that in the past that failed miserably. It didn't work. Just moving one place to the right, to the left, grabbing the content. No, it didn't work.
Yeah,
didn't work.
So here's my approach was before with something like that, right? Especially years ago when I'd be applying for a job or anything like you mentioned. I would write an Outlook email with the whole email, everything with the content, and I put red X's for the name, for the things I wanted to change. And then I would save that as a Outlook email template to my desktop. And then all I had to do was double click it. It would pop open, and then I would just put in the little information and send. And now it wasn't automated, but you know what? It allowed me to so easily, have a template basically to do real quickly. I don't do that anymore, but it's one of those things I want people, watch us to realize, look, anything you do is better than just doing it all manually, right? And you slowly learn, find better ways to do stuff, and you just keep trying. And hey, if your other way, let's pretend that your way that you mentioned did work with the sending of keystrokes, then use it, right? I mean, COM is, quote unquote, to me, but we were discussing it's more reliable and faster. But if you don't have that advantage, then you use whatever works, right? As far as I'm concerned, there's no right and wrong way.
This is another way. And with Outlook, I've got many, I guess as everybody has asked, I've got many canned messages saying, hi, this is the translation, hi, this is the quotation, hi, this is the invoice, hi, I've got many of them. And instead of having hi, always hi, I've got good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a few ways to say the same thing, and this is done automatically by AutoHotkey. Depends on the time, and
Yeah.
I humanize it a little bit with a random number, and I said, okay, from time to time, just say hi. Just say it's very simple hi, and I did it with the hotkey as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just testing if mine still work. I'm not going to share it because you don't have to see it. But I have things like how to say thank you in Chinese, Dutch, Spanish, and what else was it? There was a couple other languages, Japanese, because at TI I was working with people internationally, and so I could type like for Chinese it was CTY, so Chinese for C, and then TY for thank you. TY. Yeah, CTY. It was so the first letter was the language. So if it was
Chinese,
Japanese, yeah, if it was Japanese, it'd be JTY, right? But it allowed me to personalize it and make them feel like I actually went out of my way to do, and I did, of course, but I set it up once so I could very quickly, help make them feel a little more loved, like I care. But yeah, it was like it was so easy when you do it that way.
Yeah, so you have got CTY, JTY,
right,
FTY, a few of them. Okay,
and that was where when I'm talking to Jackie, I'm like, I have hundreds of hot strings, and that's when I'm like, there were too many, I couldn't remember. So I started developing a pattern for myself. When when I have a pattern that I can follow, then I'm like, okay, because emails are usually like yours would be JPE for your email address, right? So it's your initials and then an E after, and then I put in a period just to make sure that it's a little more unique. But I do that, and most people, it's rare I actually have people who have the same email initials that I'm writing. So it's super easy for me to pull up someone's email address. But and again, I can remember it more importantly, right? Because that's the hard part, is remembering all these different things.
Yeah, I would hate to write a wrong email or to write the wrong or a brand name with a typo. I would hate that. Hate it. I would hate it. And yes, I've got a few of them as well. Yeah, and this is a problem with AutoHotkey. I've heard of it to other users that hotkeys they forgot. They are forgotten, and they don't know. I don't know. By the way, a quick access pop-up, the tool from John.
Yeah.
I think this is something a good tool to avoid it. Yeah. Actually, well, I've got some menus. I do very few use, but I've got some menus just to in each application I do special things.
Yep.
And this helps, but I'm thinking of going to quick access setup. No, it's not setup, pop-up.
Yeah.
Yeah, pop-up to ease the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I had written my own menus that have sub-menus, and there's a lot of them. And then I found Jean's tool, and I'm like, I just wish I had found that tool several years earlier, because it's a lot of work to create these menus and have icons and have them all nested. But the problem is all my old stuff, it still works. And so I'm not going to take the time to switch it all over. But as I add new stuff, it all goes under QAP, because it's just so much easier to maintain.
Yeah. This is something that this is in the near future to have a look at quick access pop-up and see if it can help.
Yeah,
I don't know if what I do to not forget the most of the hotkeys is that I revise my code. And at least I see, okay, this is what it does. And if I find that I don't use something, I just delete it. Well, at least I put it somewhere else, and I say, okay, next time I will delete you. And this is what I do. Yeah, this way I try to.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that's part of the problem too. Is, to your point, you can end up having so much in there, and then you just don't. I'll go back and look at my main file, which is over 2,000 lines long, and there's a lot in there, I'm sure, that I've forgot I even have. But I never go back and remove it unless I happen to see something when I'm scrolling and go, what is that? Oh, all right, I'll delete it. But yeah, it's easy to add stuff in, but often it stays there.
And I don't know if this is a good time. May I
Sure.
share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. This one. Can you see my screen? Yeah, I can see it. Okay. Yeah. This is the mouse I use.
Really? That's awesome.
It's a gaming mouse. The good thing is that this 12 buttons, it's a 3x4 matrix. I use this a lot. This is the mouse I use. This is another view. And just to show you, maybe this is my philosophy, my strategy to not forget what I do. This is the matrix, the 12 button matrix.
Yep.
And this is, I try to explain 4 of the buttons. Okay. One is copy. So I try to copy something. It's not just a copy to the clipboard, but we'll see it in the next slide. Another one is delete something. Okay, this depends on the application, the active application. Another is paste, another one is properties, another is close. I use it to close tabs, documents, and applications. Okay, so one button makes a lot of things. And depending on where you are, it will do one thing or the other. And for example, this is my copy button, okay? And this is what the copy button does in some of the applications here.
Okay.
For example, in Windows Explorer, copy the file names where I can see, for example, if let's say I press this mouse button, it will show this with the name. And I can, then it is in the clipboard, I can put it here, okay? I can paste it. And I can copy the actual path, which is, for example, if I'm here, into this, maybe you could see it.
Yeah, I saw it. Yep.
Yeah, for an instant and then goes away. I can, in work style, copy the style. This is PowerPoint. I did it, I click it, maybe. Can you see the...
Yes, the format pane.
Brush? Yeah. And in Outlook, all these things, I can copy several things. If I am in, this is Acrobat, if I click here, just copy the name of the document open.
Right.
Okay. So this is, and in Notepad, for example, this one, if I click it in this first line, it is selected, but actually, but if I can paste it right here. So this copy button makes a lot of things. And if you remember there was this paste, you can understand maybe this copy, I can paste several things, not only the paste, the clipboard. That's what I mean. So this, in my mind, is when I want to copy something, it doesn't have to be one word or something like this. I use this mouse, this button of this mouse.
Yeah.
Okay. This is, I find this very useful. I'm following this for the last year, something like this, and makes my mind ready. I don't forget usually what is this button for. I change it all the times. Yeah.
I used to have a mouse. It didn't have that many buttons, but it had mine right now. I think has 5, but I used to have one that had a couple more. And one that I loved, which actually I had a couple that were kind of like the close. I had one for copy. One I had that I loved, which I should probably incorporate into this one, was it would do like an AltTab. It would switch back to the previous program. And so I loved it because I could be in something and hit the mouse, and I didn't have to use my other hand, right? It automatically went back to the other program.
The AltTab, yeah, I need to think of something about this because I don't like it either. The good point for a right-handed person like me is that it's the opposite idea that we use the other hand and we can make it, but I don't like this movement of Alt-Tab. Don't like it either. Yeah. Well, that's
very cool. So,
yeah.
correct. So
this is the matrix of the 12 buttons. You can see that the button itself triggers Win, Control, Alt 0. So weird hotkeys, but they are fine because nobody uses these.
Right. Yeah. That's great. What's MAY, the top third to the right?
Oh, sorry, it's in Spanish. I forgot I translated everything, but no, this is Win Shift.
Okay, thank you.
With this button, I move whatever window from one screen to the other, like this. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is similar, but it puts the window on the right. Yeah.
Cool.
So this is pretty much what I use. I've just deleted a few of them just for privacy reasons, but yeah, this is pretty much what I use. I use all of this. I Google many things with quotations. So I enclose the text and Google it. And sometimes I do open social networks. This is pretty much what I do. Yeah, copy, delete, paste, properties, and this is the close. Yeah. This is.
And can you clarify? So AutoHotkey is able to see all 12 of those buttons being clicked?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. This mouse has been with me for the last 2-3 years, and it works perfect.
Nice.
This is something true. I need to. Sometimes I need to before going ahead with any of these hotkeys, I need to be sure or ensure that the control key is up, the alt key is up. Sometimes I need because sometimes the script fails otherwise. But for the rest of the whatever you can think is very large, very ugly, it doesn't matter. It works perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah, very good, very good. This is just ideas for everybody.
Yeah. That's great.
And I would like to show you one use case that I used here in the translation agency. That is this one. Can you see it right? Or maybe I can...
No, it's good. Yeah, it's a little better. Yeah.
Okay, this was a special case of a client who wanted me to translate the text in the Latin text. You see here, this is just an example. So he gave me a label that I couldn't touch, and then an edit box where I was supposed to enter the translation here on the right. Okay.
Yep.
So the point is that there were something like 5,000 edit boxes like these ones that you see. So point number one, translating here in this web page that it opens with the link that the customer sent me. It was not feasible because well, the translator uses other things. Just to name a few, the grammar checker, the spell checker. Most tools, it was impossible to use them here. Okay. Yeah. So for a good job, if you wanted to do a good job, I need to extract this text that you see on the right. And if do this copy 5,000 times, it was not.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think this was an event. So this is a very good use case for AutoHotkey programming to select all the edit box here, selected everything, copy it, and then with tab, 2 or 3, whatever, and then go to this, and same thing. Copy everything, select everything, and move to the next one, and do this 5,000 times. And with this, we have the text in the clipboard. You understand?
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I can guess that there are more ways to grab the text. I guess I could save the HTML and parse the whatever text is in the edit boxes, but okay, I did it with AutoHotkey. And then this text was translated. So I had the opposite problem to
get them back
to
in.
Enter, to put the text back in. So I did it as well with AutoHotkey. And this is a real use case I did have some time ago with a client. I can't imagine what I would have done without AutoHotkey.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, I actually, when I was at TI, so I used to work in market research, and then I left it, and I was working in another department, but I still had friends there. And my one friend was working on a study that I had done the year before, where we had the employee satisfaction survey. I'm sorry, not employee, customer satisfaction survey in like 9 languages. And so I'm like, hey, what are you doing? He's like, he's like, I got to go through, and he had it in a spreadsheet, and he had to line by line copy and paste from one over to the other into the browser, back and forth, right? And he's like, this is one language, and he had like 1,000 lines, and it was just going to take forever. And I'm like, oh, I said, give me 10 minutes. He's like, what? I said, just give me a couple minutes. I said, can you send me that file? So in like 10 minutes, I wrote a script that would go to you could hit in Excel. It would take the cell you're on and copy it, and then basically Alt-Tab and paste, and then come back and go down one, and then copy, and then move over. Actually, sorry. So it would have when I was there, it would paste and then move down a row. So it's setting it up for the next one. So anyway, in a couple minutes, and I said, do like 20 at a time. So he'd hit a button, and it would do 20, and he could look at it, and then he could hit it again, and it would just dump them in. And he couldn't thank me enough. He's like, this is insane. Like, you don't know how many hours and hours that you just saved me. I'm like, trust me, I know, because I've done it, and I've always figured out a way to. When I did it, I used a search replace tool to automate finding this and replacing it with that. So I took the English version and just, I automated it. And the only thing I had to learn, and that it was a stupid approach, but it worked. But what I learned was I had to start with the very longest one first, because if I started with the shorter one and that was in a different one, it messed it up, right?
Yeah.
But it was one of those, like, I just refuse to manually go through and do like what you just described. I'm like, I'm not going to do, there's got to be a better way. I love that example you gave, though. That was very cool.
Yeah, this is real, very real. And I've got another thing to show you. Maybe I can share again. Now I've learned how to do it. This one. Can you see it? No. I forgot. No.
I see your mouse.
Yeah. This is. This is the application to control the mouse. You can see here. All the.
Oh, neat! You drew them in there. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the software to physically. Let's see if I can change any of them. Well, I can't. This is. This is Windows left, Windows with the arrow, and this is the way to set the hotkey combination for each button. Okay, this is what I wanted to show. I just shared the screen I didn't want it, but I moved the application this time. Okay, this is another use case that I used in the translation agency, and some of them I use it every day, and some of them twice a month, but it is good to have them.
Yeah.
Trust Studio, this is the application we use. Well, we used here, but you can't see it. You don't have it. I don't have it right. Okay, I'm gonna start it and I will put it back when it loads. Something I do every day. I calculate word counts, character counts.
Sure.
This is I do it every day. For example, let's say I have here this text.
Yep.
Okay, this is Latin. Don't worry what it means. Right. And if I select it and press my hotkey, which is Windows Alt C, it says how many characters is going to disappear. Just copy it, and it says how many characters and words and even paragraphs. And I use this for quotations, or for me just to know how much is the work to do.
Yeah, it's great.
And this is yours. Screen capture.
Yeah.
You said you used it 20 times a day.
I use it so many times, it's crazy. Yeah.
I use it more than you 50 times a day. I would say many times, just to compare to when I post in the Twitter or whatever. Just capture the capturing is this what I
sure. Yeah, it's so easy.
Just capturing. And you show this in one of your webinars, and I use it, and I'm very thankful for that. I use it a lot.
Awesome.
And something that it is related with this, it is the OCR function that you showed, maybe it was 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very good. I managed to do it. And I've seen a video of yours demonstrating how to use it, but anyway, I have it here, something that I just got it from the New York Times. It is an image, as you can see, okay?
Yep.
And let's say no, this is not going well. Sorry. Let's say I capture it with screen capture tool we are talking about, and then the hotkey to execute the OCR is Control O. I execute it. It's processing the image, and done. And let's see. Let's see if I can show how accurate it is.
Yeah,
I think it is perfect.
Pretty darn close, yeah.
Yeah. I use the English. By the way, this OCR has languages. You can.
Yeah, didn't I see somewhere maybe it was on the forum, you posted saying you looked at the other languages or somewhere, I remember.
Yeah, I checked that for Spanish. I don't use this a lot, but for Spanish, I saw that these letters, special letters for Spanish, maybe Jackie, if he sees this video, will know, these letters, this one, by the way, you see my AutoHotkey increasing the font. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Increasing the font. These letters, I don't know how do you call this, the umlaut, I think. Umlaut?
Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
I don't know if it is German. Well, it's the U with umlaut, and no, this OCR has ever managed to do this. Has never managed to do it. Well, it is good for small things. It is good. We translators usually work with this tool. I wanted to show it to you. This is the Traus Studio that we mentioned right here. Okay, this is one of the tools that we use. It's a special tool that it can even do OCR. Very good. It's very good. But for small text, this is fast. This is very fast and quick. I don't need to do the special thing. It is slow because it is 50 characters per second, which is not a lot. 50 characters or something like this. So it is something like, this is 56. So per second, it's something like this. It takes 2 seconds per line, approximately. So for me, this is slow, but the good point is that it's accurate. Yeah.
And it's super handy. You're already in something anyway, right? And that's, for me, that's why I like it. It's built into my other screen clipping tool now, so I don't have to do something separate.
Yeah, it is something like, just to show it, what I do with this translating tool. Well, this is what I have. Here on the left is the original text, and here I would say, well, whatever, your eye is blue or something like this, blah, blah, okay? And this is the way many translators do our job. So I use AutoHotkey to do things with this tool. When I want to copy and paste, of course, it's not the clipboard, but I use it a lot. Okay?
Yep.
And one more thing I use this also as well every day. This is a small GUI to enter quotation marks. Well, you don't have this problem in English, but in many other languages, these are quotations. These are German, okay?
Yeah.
This is the actual GUI. If I want to enter French quotations, I will do this. Okay, it enters the hard spaces here. These are the Spanish ones. That they are the same as French, but without hard spaces. This is the curly ones, the straight ones. Okay, so this is the something that I did. Maybe it's one of the few GUIs I did.
Cool, I love it. So it'll. What are you typing? Like the French one when you typed it, right up there, those two things. Were you still typing the quote? And
no, but okay. I type once. French. I type once. This is what it does. It opens the quotation, then a hard space, and I type twice, second time, and another hard space, and then the closing quotation.
But just to clarify, you're still hitting the same quote key on your keyboard.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I can't see. I assume that's what you're doing. I love it because it's automatically converting. You don't have to remember it's a different keystroke.
Yeah.
Right? It's like I want French. Okay. The other thing, which I'm curious if you've done, because I could see you having a bunch of text where you need to convert it all, and it'd be like a search replace functionality for you, right? So to go across an entire document and just replace all the double quotes with with whatever those are called. And
but that could be another thing. That would be another thing. This is to write to
as
enter
you're writing.
typographicals on the fly.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
because I can't. Yeah.
This is one of the few gears I have. This is this gear is shared in my blog post, in my blog. By the way, it's Gondwana is something like this. I'm gonna put it here. It is. This is the name of the blog. It is written everything in Spanish. Sorry about that. But yeah, I've posted some nice scripts like this one. Yeah.
Actually, and so that brings up a question I wanted to ask a few minutes ago. So, have you shared your code, your scripts, or anything with anyone you work with?
Yes. Actually, I've mentioned your webinars, and I'm gonna do it in the future as well. Yeah. There is a small community of translators. It's a forum created by this tool, which is Trad Studio. They have some forums, and one of them is AutoHotkey. And yeah, I've shared some code, and mainly my blog is what. Yeah, this is the place. If there is any of you want to get the code like this one, the quotations, this is the place to go and grab it from there. Yeah.
Awesome. I'll make sure to add it in the when I put up the video. I'll have I'll put a link to it just so they have it handy. That's very cool. But and I'm curious. So I know you said you've shared some of the code, but have people actually taken interest in learning how to actually write the code, or they just want to borrow like what you've done?
Both, I would say both. Some of them just grab the code and use it, and they have problems and they don't know how to fix it because they just use it. Last time it was a translator who was trying to use just what I saw, 3 small scripts, and this translator couldn't manage to make them work because one of the scripts called the other script, and that was not supposed to happen. So the scripts independently they work fine, but together they mix things up. So
gotcha.
Yeah. This is something that we could see quickly, but well, this is some of the guys just use it, and some of them just try and learn and very basic things. But there is with AutoHotkey studying just a little bit, knowing the language at least at the beginning, you can do many things. This is still far away of the level of you guys. You are gurus.
I still put virtually anyone else that's even at our webinars, almost all of them are so much better than me because I can fake stuff. I mean, the web scraping stuff I'm decent at. After that, like I can do basic stuff, but yeah, it's just practice. You know, it really is. Just you keep pushing yourself to learn a little bit more. That COM, it's a bit, what I would say is like, don't focus on the web scraping first, focus on Excel or Outlook and learning that, because the web scraping is much more complicated than spreadsheets or Outlook, just because every web page is built very differently. But yeah.
Yeah. And actually one of the translators mentioned the quick access pop-up. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe, I think he's French. Maybe you know the names better than me. I can't remember the name right now. But yeah, one of the translators knew this quick access pop-up.
Cool.
So maybe he knows this tool about you. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, no worries. Yeah. Yeah, it's in 10 languages. I forget. He's just launched. I think he said Korean is his newest one. He just made it available in. There was one that was just new, but yeah, he laughs, and I'm like, I want him to. I think that tool is so amazing. He could be selling that you know, and making money on it. And I keep bugging him about it, teasing him, but I'm like, it's such an amazing tool. I hope more people.
You're teasing him? Why?
Say that again?
Why are you teasing him?
About actually charging for it. I want him to.
Oh, yeah.
I want him to make more money and get the deserving, you know, money I think he deserves. It's such an amazing, robust tool. What's kind of funny is like it's still like I tease him also is like, can I pay you to build me a stripped version of it that doesn't have all the functionality? Because it has so much functionality, I think that actually scares some people away, right? Like, yeah. I almost want to say, like, just have it with the menus, putting in snippets, right? That would be, people like you, with what you described, would be so helpful and easy, right? And then maybe there's a different version that just says the links to the web pages, you know, or the files, because those, it's amazing and it's great, but like when you add all this stuff in here and have all these different ways to do it, I think some people just start getting overwhelmed and then they don't use it at all. And it just it takes some practice. But
there is a donation. This John has this donation possibility, but I don't know if
he takes the money.
He's getting money.
Yeah, he does. It's hit and miss. I mean, some people put in a ridiculously low amount. You know, it's like, why did you even bother? But some people, you know, give him, you know, some more serious money. He's happy with whatever he gets. Don't get me wrong. He's the most nicest and most grateful person like I've met and dealing with. He's so polite and so he loves it. I just look at it and go, you have an amazing tool. You know, it's worth. And so the other part, like my background in research and marketing is, of course, people associate the value with something. A big part of it's what you paid for it, right? And if you don't pay something for it, you almost like you're less likely to use it and think it's valuable. And I think that's a big thing of if you're not charging people for it, they don't think it's that, they're not going to think it's that valuable, and they don't even, you know, really use it. Or the more you charge, it's actually, we talked about it. I'll say it here I brought it up the other day of like, should we start charging for the webinars? Not because I want to make money, just to actually get more people to see that there's, hey, there's a webinar here, like there's value, you know, it's,
and I agree with you, and I'm with you to charge for
it's not a lot, right? It's just
I would pay for this. I learn every day this screen capture tool, the OCR, this are valuable for me. This, if it gives me 5 minutes a day, is valuable.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you are thinking of charging $100 a month, but
that's right. No, it'd be like $5 or something, you know, something small. It's just like, I know in Africa they tried giving away birth control pills, right? And nobody would take them. But when they charged like $0.25 or $1 or whatever, people actually took them, right? Because they had what's called skin in the game, right? I've invested in them, therefore I'm going to use it, you know. And it's just it's so true. It's the way the world works. Is you get something for free and you don't see the value, but boy, the second you pay a little bit for it, suddenly you're more interested in it.
Yeah, if you make a service, if you make a survey, I would say yes, charge for the webinars. I would be interested.
Cool.
And same thing for John. I haven't used his tool, but I saw a little bit of it in your webinar, and it is very good.
It's amazing. Yeah.
And even for me, I've got a blog, but I'm thinking of monetizing it with services, and it's the same mindset. This is a project. If I want to keep it alive, I need to get some money.
Yeah, I could see
interested
in what you're doing, you know, because I know at TI, I somewhat interacted with our translation group, and so I had, compared to the average person, I have a little understanding of what you guys do, right, and the volume stuff. And I would definitely say, like, you could build some tools to make it easier for people who have your job and sell and make some money off it. Why not, right? If you're going to create stuff like just that you showed me with that replacing of the quotations, you could put in the like make one for the like dollar sign as well, like the whatever you call it in different languages, right? The yen or rupee or whatever. And have something that also says, oh, I still hit a dollar sign in it, but I want it in Chinese or for whatever, right? And make it automatically know the right thing.
Yeah. Well, this is free. So far, it's free.
Yeah.
I've got, for example, may share again the screen. Let me see if I do it right. Which one? Oh, okay, that's good. This is something that I did it last week with Com, and I can work out the word count of docx documents. Like this, for example, if I Windows Alt-C is the hotkey, I press it, and it says it has 600 words. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do it with many files. This one, for example, and it is done in with COM, and it takes 2 seconds to bring this. And I use this. I'm going to start to use this, and I'm going to share it with the translators because it is very fast.
Sure.
It's accurate. What is that? What time is it? It is 1 hour. Yeah, I'm going to share with this script with translators because this is going to be helpful for everybody, I think. It takes, by the way, if I remove this is already in the clipboard and ready to use. And I can paste it in a spreadsheet, and it is so. This for invoicing is very fast, very fast. I think translators will love this script as well.
I don't recall, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but because I built one using COM inside Word to do a word count. And I remember when I was first playing with it, it actually gave me a slightly different number of words.
Oh yeah,
than what was there.
There is a big problem with this. Yeah, it took me a few.
Okay, good.
A few weeks. Yeah, let's say for example this one. Okay, it says 6 to 1 words. Okay, the truth is that if you go to properties, by the way, my Windows is in English, so no problem with this. If you go here to details, word count, you see?
Yeah.
5 to 9, this is a metadata inside the document itself. It's different from this. So this number, I didn't analyze that deeply, but it seems that Microsoft Word application saves this number when the application wants. So it's not reliable. So maybe your script was doing this, was reading this word count number, which is a property of the document.
I don't, but, yeah, I don't recall. Yeah.
So, but what I do is that I really open the file, the document, and it reads this. So I actually open this 5 documents and read this statistics number, which is the real one, because this one is not.
Well, do me a favor, create, actually just go back into the other document and temporarily, get it down to where there's like 10 words or 4. So delete all but 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Delete them.
No. Only keep 4.
Sorry?
Only keep 4.
Only keep 4.
Right. So get rid of everything else.
Everything. This one?
Okay, good. And it's still saying 4, so that's good. I just wanted to make sure that was it was representing that properly.
Yeah. This is fine. The point is if I save it, maybe this number is not is wrong. Maybe.
Yeah.
Let's see. Word count 4. This time is fine.
Right.
But most of the time, I found out that it's not good. Yeah, that was the reason that this is not a good number, that I needed to use COM objects and actually open each one of these documents. By the way, if I try to do this, I need to close this. If I do it, it says 0 words. So it only calculates the word count of Word documents, not PowerPoints, not anything else.
Yeah, and how how PowerPoint is laid out, it would be tricky to calculate that because each slide is a different thing. I think going across all of them,
it could be tough.
Yeah,
it could be tough.
You could do it, but it's just it definitely is a little more complicated.
It's going for each one of the shapes, grab the text, and then do the word count.
Yeah. Have you played with regular expressions?
Yeah, a bit. I use it a lot because it's, the point is that the more you know, the more you can do.
Absolutely.
So sometimes if you don't know something, for example, where can I show you this? Yeah, let's trigger again the word count. You see that they were flashing, they were opening the document. Yeah, you see this dot here and here. This is the 1000 separator. In Spanish, it's a dot.
Yeah.
This dot is put there because I use a special regular expression, and it is quite complex, I could say.
Yeah.
Maybe I can try to find it. These are all my what do you call it, scripts, and they are separated mainly by application. This is my Outlook script. So if I want to show you this, maybe it's in my library. Yeah, that one. This is the it's complicated, I think. This is the regex function I saw somewhere in the
forum,
on the internet to split one number into with the separator line with the thousand separators. It is complex. It is very complex. Just to understand this and this, every one of them, maybe it took me 1 hour. It's very complex.
I don't remember what is /big G. I don't recognize that.
/G is I didn't know it either. Maybe 2 months ago. It's a special. It means that the regex engine doesn't stop when the first match occurs.
So it's
but it goes, continues from the last match.
Oh, interesting.
Huh. Yeah, because if you've got, let's say, this number has to put several points, commas here,
right.
Okay?
Right.
So it has to put here and here, here. So it must put commas in several places, not just one. So this G, capital G, makes this to continue grabbing matches after the last one. This is what it does.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. Regis is very powerful. Very powerful. Sometimes it saved my day.
Yeah, it's just I'm sure you're the same way. Like I'll I'll get pretty comfortable with them, and then I don't have a need for a couple months, and then I come back and look at it and go, wait, how did that work? Right? It's a use it or lose it, right? You get into it and you like them, and then you get it, and then it's just like it's complex. And so until you really spend a lot of time, for me, the basics I remember, but some of them, like, it just still takes me a while.
Wow, this is very complex. This is very complex.
Yeah.
And I don't know the guy who did it, but he has to be very smart. That guy has to be very smart. And Registix is like AutoHotkey, I believe. It is. There are some easy things like this one.
Right.
This one is easier, but this one, it starts to come.
Is that the forward-looking or back-looking? Yeah.
This is a look ahead, I believe.
Yes. Yeah.
And there is look behind, negative, positive. There are plenty of options, but you can go little by little.
Yep.
And if you know the basics, you can do many things. And if you want to do something, just Google it, and maybe you have the answer. I just grabbed this nice function because I just searched for it. This is not mine.
Yeah, and then you just have to understand what I think AutoHotkey uses the Perl version of regular expressions, because there's slightly different ones out there, the engine they use. But again, like you said, often someone's already written what you need. You just got to go find the right one and then adapt it a little bit. But yeah, they're a lot of fun.
Yeah, and well, I always try to do things different. Well, look, this is the real one. This is mine, and they are the same. So, or maybe I just tested it. This, well, I don't know. I don't remember now. Well, maybe if there was someone who tried to know what a translator does in his day job, maybe we could have given
some ideas.
Maybe we gave a good understanding. What do you think?
Oh yeah, no, that was awesome. Do you have any other main ones that you use, or those are the core?
Well, I just kept writing, and I said the ones that I use. Oh, okay, I use this a lot as well. For example, if I am here, and you can see the actual path. Yeah. This is in the clipboard, and for example, a quick look. This is my PC, but it is my PC from Saturday, so I don't understand it very well. So let's say you have here whatever. In Word, there is something very nice, which is Shift F3. This is for English as well, and I guess it is for any language. F3 does this. It changes the capital case.
Yeah.
See? Okay, I like this very much, and I would like it to have it here as well.
Sure. Yeah.
I have it, for example, this, and I'm doing the same thing, but in any application can do this.
Yeah. Yeah, I have it. I hold down Control Shift, and if I hit U, it's upper, L is lower, and T is title.
But this is another. Here you can see if I select a lot of text.
Yep.
You can see what I do.
Yep.
You can see the script in action.
Yep.
And so what I liked in this way is that because I know pretty much the shortcuts for Word, I can translate I can translate these shortcuts to any other application. And I like this. And for example, this is Acrobat, and with the mouse, maybe you can see it, I'm changing the active document with the mouse.
Okay.
This is just with the mouse. Yeah. I use this a lot because sometimes got two documents. One is the original. The second one is the translated version. So one way to compare them easily, that there is nothing funny. It is with this, and with the wheel of the mouse, I'm doing this very quick, very easy. Just because the mouse is here in the document part, if I do it here, it is the normal behavior. I can grab the document name. I think this is number 3. We talked about this earlier.
So on this one, are you connecting to the Adobe COM object?
No, this is just alt something. This is very easy. It is.
It does have one, by the way.
Acrobat Reader has a COM object.
Yeah.
No, it's very. This is This is what I'm doing. We're down with up, and this is Control Shift Tab. This is what I do. Or Control Tab. This is the other way around. And well, I could stay another hour to show everything I got, but I think I said.
Cool, awesome.
But I do mainly.
Yeah, this has been a great. I think it'll, I mean, the odds of someone else working in translations watching this are, well, actually, if you share it, they might be higher, right? But even then, I think it's easy for people to see, to adapt some of what you did and borrow it into how they use it, right? There's some stuff here to make people rethink how they do stuff. And I love the thing with the mouse, which I've built a couple onto mine, but I only have 5 buttons now, which for someone on a Mac, right? They're like, you have more than one, I think they have 2 now, but for years, for 20 years, I've always had like at least 4 or 5 buttons. I switched mine to it's like a standing mouse.
Oh, this is ergonomic mouse, right?
Yeah, and it really helps because otherwise I get more pain in my forearm. But this one only had it's got two right here and then 1 up here, and then there's the normal 3. But I haven't done a lot of too many customized things with it. I had forgotten the AltTab. I had a close also, which I loved because I could just be in something and be like, all right, I'm done with it. Just hit the button and it closes what I'm in, right? I mean, that one I used a lot. So I'm going to have to rethink I might go back and add some of those on there. Well, one right now
is my mouse.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
Very good, very good. This about swapping documents. It is for every. I'm doing. Let me share it again, and maybe we finish. For example, this is the Cytex. No, the Cytex for AutoHotkey. The Cytex.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. It's the same behavior.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So it's the same wheel mouse that here should be. I'm gonna search for it, I guess. Yeah. It is,
That's turning up and down your volume, right?
Yeah, well, not here, but by the way, if the mouse, it is here in the, you call it the taskbar, it is, like this.
Yeah, I have the same one, yeah.
You saw it in the internet, right?
Oh yeah, I love it. I use that all the time too. It's so handy.
I love it, love it. So I try to have the same things, the same shortcuts for every application that I use often. Yeah,
which is another great thing about AutoHotkey. You can make it context sensitive, and when you're in that program, do something, actually send different commands, but for you, it's the same trigger, right, to do it.
Yeah, same thing. So it is easy to remember. I forget many things, but at least I try to not to forget. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on here today. This was great. And thanks for coming to the webinars.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Oh, you
Joe,
bet.
how many screens have you got?
4.
3, 4.
Yeah.
Because I saw you.
Yeah. I got one up there, one here, and then this one over here. It either goes to my laptop or I can switch it to go to this. But I mostly just use these two. I was switching it to a standing station, and these flip, so they're really tall and skinny. But it was hurting my neck because I was having to look so far down. So I need to do some tweaks to it before I finish doing that. But I liked at work. I used to stand all day, and it was great. And I just haven't converted entirely to standing yet, but I should, to get off my butt. You know, this is good for you.
Okay, thanks for inviting me to show what I do. I think well, you can give ideas to other people, and
absolutely.
mainly they are not as good as you.
But it's all just practice, right? And baby step in, pick one thing, you know, save a little bit of time, and then come back later and do a little bit more, right? Yeah. I'd say keep on it, learning the COM, because once you start learning COM, it gets much easier after you work with it for a little bit. Suddenly it becomes really easy. It's just at first it's very confusing. And hey, when, you know, if you're working on something and you're stuck, what I always tell people is try it, you know, spend like, you know, 30 minutes, 40 minutes trying it. And then if you're, you know, after that, then, you know, you can ping me and just say, hey, can you look at this? I'm trying to do this, right? Or can we jump on Zoom, right? And often in a few minutes, we can look at something. And I love helping people learn. I don't like solving the problem. I like helping people to teach themselves, right? So that's my thing. Is like people ask me to write scripts for them, and I'm like, I have no interest in coding. I don't even like coding. It's funny, but I like helping people, and I like teaching them how to do it for themselves, right? So that's what I love.
Okay.
Awesome. Well, thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. Bye-bye.